So hey, what's going on everybody? Welcome back to the channel. We're working on the 1972 Plymouth Fury again. Trying to keep this project moving right along because I want this to be my daily driver soon. That's exactly what we're going to do with it. We are going to daily drive this thing, but we got a few mechanical issues we got to sort out. We're going to take a little break from the interior for a minute and work on some brakes because we don't have any. We'll get back on that shortly. I got a little bit more work I want to do. We got to get seat belts installed, and then we got to get these into the car. And not to mention, we still got an armrest to figure out. Hopefully we'll be able to get to all that in this video, but for right now, let's start on the back brakes. I'm trying to remember how to get these skirts off. There's a lever inside of here. That's it right there. It's not too hard. Don't worry, those are going back on. You guys overwhelmingly tell me to leave the skirts on, so we will leave them on. But to get this big old wheel off, we have definitely got to get those out of the way, and even with it out of the way, it's still a pain in the butt. So what we got to figure out is what size these drums are. They have three different sizes, 2 inch, 2.5, and 3 inch, and I got to figure out which one these are before I can actually get brake shoes. Wonder if we could get this drum off of here. She's trying to come off. I don't think we're going to need a puller or anything. Kind of hard to get a good shot and hold the light at the same time, but there is a gear inside of here. I'm sure most of y'all know this. It's got this weird little tool that you're going to get in there and just kind of flick on that gear. One way will tighten those brake shoes and the other way will loosen them off. So this may take a minute. Now this wouldn't be quite so hard, but some knucklehead lowered the car. We won't talk about that. There's this big giant block in the way. It's got all of this is now down here right in my way when this normally would be up here and then this would be more exposed. You see what I'm saying? So not having a good time here. Man, I'm so close to having this off here. Tired of messing with that brake adjuster. It just doesn't seem, it's just so hard to get onto it, you know. I could barely get it to turn, but maybe just a few times. Hopefully that was enough. Thank goodness. So it appears as though these are in fact the 2-inch brake shoes. So now we know. Now these shoes don't seem to be in too bad a shape. They actually still got some good meat on them, I think. But we'll go ahead and replace them since we're in here. I think I'm going to start by adjusting the brake adjuster. This is the part that we was trying to get at in the from the back side, you know, with the little brake adjustment tool. You know, you got one of these and you get in there from the little slot on the back side and you sit and you do this little number here against these teeth and you can tighten it or loosen it. Unfortunately, I got all my suspension pieces in the way now that I've lowered the vehicle, so it made it very difficult, but that was the idea. And what I'm doing now is I'm just kind of loosening it off. I think that'll make it a little easier to get some of the tension off of some of these brake components. And when we put our new pads in, being thicker, it'll need to be adjusted down anyway. So between that and popping off a buttload of springs, about the best advice I could possibly give anybody doing brake work, especially rear brakes, is to take pictures and maybe just only do one side at a time. Is probably about the best advice I could give anybody, because it can be a little bit of a pain in the butt trying to remember where all these springs go. I'm gonna try to do this without making them all shoot off across the room. There we go. Okay, there's that one. Once you get that off, see, everything gets kind of floppy. I kind of bent my spring just a little bit. I want to be careful not tear your springs up. We got to reuse all of that stuff, so. There's that one. It's got this weird emergency brake setup. I don't know if you guys can see it, but it's got this long cable that runs up here and comes around this way. I believe that to be what this is. There we go. See, that's why you want to take pictures. You don't want to be losing any of this stuff and where it goes, you know what I mean? So anyway, that comes up here somewhere. That's what our cable wraps around, kind of gives it a little curve to go around before it hooks up there. And then that runs off down here. A little bit different than what I'm used to on the most Chevys, but I think easy enough to figure out. And I'll go as far as to kind of lay my pieces where they come out at, you know. Just kind of helps you out a little bit. Sometimes I can get these with my fingers. These here you're going to push in and turn on. And a pair of pliers is probably the way to go. I'm trying to do it with my fingers and it just ain't working. Alright, there comes that. Pull this off. All this has got to come off. We'll keep all of this together like that. Put it over here. And then this can all start to slip off of there. There we go, just like that. We'll do this other side the same way. Sometimes I could do it with my fingers, but yeah, there we go. The other side was fighting me a little bit, but there's the spring. See about getting all of this off of here. And we got all new wheel cylinders and everything for this thing, so we're about to do it up right. Here's the rest of that. Emergency brake cable right here. So we can't pop that up out. There, finally. Yeah, that thing was caught into that little forked area. We got it though. So let's see, this went like that. This goes up here like this. This goes over here. Where'd it go? Right here like that. This came around here like so. Comes around, hooks into this guy over here. And then this went in between these two pieces like this. Hooks into there. Don't forget this guy. Let's see, it went up here somewhere. We got to figure that out in a minute. And then here's our springs. I believe this one went in like this. Goes over to that. And then this one went in like this and went over to that as well. I believe that's all the pieces. It all fell apart and went into the pan, and that's everything all back in a nutshell. And then you got these guys. We'll go ahead and get those out. Those went in the center of our springs. And then this goes in between all of it, kind of in behind all of that. We got new wheel cylinders, so we'll go ahead and get these off. And then we'll start cleaning up some of this mess. So the brake lines seem to be in pretty good shape. Nothing's rusted through or anything. I went ahead and soaked down my fitting here with some lube and let it sit for a little bit. See if we can't crack it loose. I'm trying to be really careful. I don't want to twist any of these lines off. There, it's turning. Okay, it's turning. We're doing good. I'm kind of supporting the brake line at the same time. I don't want to twist any of this off, like I said. That seems to be working out okay. There we go. Now we're getting somewhere for sure. It's got a little brake fluid leaking out of it. That's a good sign. The reservoir, for those of you who don't know, this car's been sitting for 10 years. We just drug it out of the woods, basically. And the reservoir in the rear on the master cylinder is bone dry, so I have no idea where it leaked from. This wheel cylinder does look like it's been a little bit leaky over the years, so maybe that's where it went. But as far as brake lines and everything go, really good shape. I haven't seen a rusted line on it anywhere, and I've been all underneath this thing. I've got a brand new rubber brake line, the hose that hooks the axle to the steel part of the brake line. I got that on the way. They had to order it. They didn't have it in stock, unfortunately. So there we go, man. So far, so good. Nothing's twisted off. Nothing's weird. I'm going to keep working that a little bit with the lube in there. That'll help us when we go to put it back together. Now we can pull off this, the wheel cylinder itself. It's just held on with these two little bolts, 3/8 inch. There's that one. It's got two of them. So one down, one to go. You can't really spray these with anything. So hopefully we don't snap nothing off. All right, that's good. I know you can rebuild these, but I don't know, man. She's pretty nasty, and look at all that rust and crap. Now these aren't expensive. They were under 20 bucks a piece, and I'm just gonna go ahead and replace them, man. No sense of messing around, right? So we got some new ones here. Before we can put them on, though, we're gonna do some cleaning in there. But yeah, I think these are gonna do just fine. Anytime you get parts, man, it's always a good idea to get them unwrapped and match them up. Make sure everything is just right on them. Start off with a little diesel. We'll just come in here and scrub this thing down. Get everything all nice and clean in there before we put our new parts in. Yeah, you just want to get some of that buildup out of there is all. So unfortunately, they don't give the end pieces here on the new wheel cylinders, so we got to reuse our old ones. So I'm going to dig those out and clean them up a bit. Do both of them. Take them to the bench grinder or wire wheel, whatever you got, even a wire brush, something. But don't put them in all nasty like that. Yeah, then we just want to pop it into our new wheel cylinder. Add a little bit of lube there, and that way it'll kind of pop through a little easier. There it is. There we go. Just like that, we're in. Now we can put it on the car. Let's go ahead and put our new wheel cylinder in there. I'm going to reuse the old bolts. I like them way better than the new ones they sent with it, and these thread right in, so why not? Something else I don't care for on this new cylinder is that the bleeder valve is really small. It's like a 7mm. The old one's like a 3/8, I believe, and now we got a little tiny guy on there, so I don't know about that. But anyway, let's get this snugged up. That's it. We'll get our new brake line put on. Still a little bit hard to turn. It's freeing up though. It's getting better. So I'll get this threaded on there. Be really careful. We don't want to cross thread anything. It's the quickest way to turn a little simple job into a harder one. And this car has been really easy to work on. I don't want to jinx myself, but it really has. Everything has come apart the way it's supposed to. We haven't had to fight with anything really. I like to keep it that way, so let's give that just a little snug. There we go. Awesome. And now it's time to start putting all these parts back on. So it's kind of important that you match up your parts, because this is going to come, all these are going to come in a box. There's going to be 4 of these shoes, 2 for each side obviously, and they're all mixed up. You don't know what goes where, so just match up your old stuff. This one is going to be a little different because it's got this guy on it. That's for these pieces to hinge off of, so obviously that one's going to go there. Also, there's going to be actually some stuff that's going to need to transfer over from the old shoe over to that. This is the emergency brake stuff, and you know what, I have never actually messed with one of these weird clips like this. Hopefully I could do this without tearing it all up. Let's see. So far no good. I think I got it. There, finally. Alright, so that takes care of that. Yeah, this is going to slip out of the hole. Then obviously it's got to go back over here to the new one. And then I'll have to sit here and mess with this till I get it bent back right, because I did kind of mess it up just a little bit. And the thing is none of this comes with any of the new clips or anything, so be kind of careful with this stuff. Unlike me, I'm over here just bending up stuff at will. But anyway, if you're careful, hopefully you'll be able to come in and reuse some of this stuff. So let's see if I can get this back on here. It was hard enough getting off. I can only imagine what it's going to be like getting it back on. Okay, so I think I got this clip situation figured out. I just had to kind of spread that out a little bit. Now once I get it back on there and just squeeze it back together, that should hold it. Yeah, once that's on there, I should be able to squeeze that back together with my pliers. Yeah, something like that. That ought to hold it on there. All right, there we go. Good as new. Dealing with this emergency brake cable is no joke. Kind of the worst part about the whole thing. Let's see. I think I got it in there. There, like that. And then we'll twist it around like that. All right. That was a bit of a pain in the butt, but we did get it. Let's get that slid up through there like that. Don't forget that part. Let's see. I need to put a pin in there because I need something to kind of help hold it together. So how about we get a spring in the hole? Start with that. There we go. There's that. What do I got underneath me? One of my springs. Let's get this slipped on there. Make sure you slip it the right way. It's got an actual little spot for that spring to sit in. And then this one will be flipped the opposite way. You see how it's got a little bevel there? Just want to pay attention to stuff like that. Let's see. Hopefully I can get this. There we go. Now that one can hold itself. Got me a little dab of grease. I'm just kind of dabbing that on the end of all of my parts. Any pieces that rub together, you know. Stuff like this where just the two pieces come together. You just want to smear you a little grease on there. That way none of this stuff's making noise later. Seems like the right thing to do anyway. Yeah, both those spots are going to have a little fork thing slide up on them. So I'm going to throw a little grease on there. This piece is going to slide right there. Kind of up inside of there like that. And then we could put our other spring on just like we did the other side. And that'll help hold everything. And then we could kind of let loose of it. It's going to be a little awkward at first when you're at this stage and nothing's really holding anything, you know. This piece has got to go up inside of here. Let's put our adjuster in there. It's going to go in like that. Keep everything kind of where it goes. This is going to go in like this, and then that came over to this hole over here. Now everything's kind of holding itself together. Sure does make it a lot easier. I could put this piece back in. This piece was a little bit of a pain in the butt, but let's see. It went on there like that. So yeah, I'm over here referencing my photos. See what I mean? That's a really good idea to have some photos. This is for the brake adjuster. This is what rubs against the teeth on there. So this has to kind of go a certain way. And it's not the easiest thing to put on here. I'll tell you that right now, because you have to kind of twist it around. Hopefully you can see this. Probably not. It's not very easy to get good shots of all this, but you want to twist it around, and then you could actually push it on there after that. And it's not easy. As you can see. But I did get it. So yeah, you see what I'm talking about. That rides right on the teeth of your adjuster. See there? And then it clicks when you turn it. So yeah, that was a bit of a pain. Between that and the emergency brake cable, I think it's the hardest part of the whole deal. Otherwise, it's not too bad. So another thing you could do besides just taking pictures is actually set this stuff up the way it came apart. You see right here, I knew I was going to need something to reference this. This is where the cable runs up and goes around that and then hooks up right there, right? And I was over here racking my brain trying to figure out what holds this piece on, because there's nothing on the back side of it. You know, it just sits in the hole, right? Well, it's the spring that actually holds it on. Once you get the spring in there, there's no way for that to come out. And luckily, I had all of this already sitting over here like that. So that answered that question, just having all of that put back together and just sitting there the way it came apart. Just another little trick when you're doing this kind of stuff. Put a little grease on some of this. This is going to go right there. And then this goes here like that. Let's see. That's what's going to hold that on. But this has to go on first, like that. And then that'll come around this way. And then I got to somehow get that to clip on there. Down here at the bottom. I kind of think I'm doing it ass backwards. See if I can get this to clip on down here. Oh, I actually got it. Okay, cool. And yeah, that goes right there like that. And then this needs to clip back onto here. Alright, that's how that goes. So we're down to the last spring. I don't think I'm missing any pieces. I think I've got it all. Let's see if we can get this last one on here. You gotta pull on it pretty dang tight. There we go. All right. Okay, that's the final piece. We've got everything on. Now we gotta do is slip the drum back on. I want to do a little bit cleaning on here. I think I'm gonna hit this up with a wire wheel. See if we can get our drum slipped back on. Right. So I went ahead and jumped on the passenger side, got it knocked out. Both sides are done now. I want to change out the differential grease. I'm going to go ahead and pop the cover up, but before I do, I'm going to take my wire wheel and kind of clean up around it. You'll definitely want to put a mask on. Man, even after all that pressure washing we did on the previous video, the wire wheel and everything, I still have to chisel some of these bolts out just to get a socket on them. A lot of it's undercoating that's been applied over the years, I guess. That with grease and dirt and everything else, you know how they are. The stuff gets caked on there after a while. It's half the fun of doing all this, the archaeological dig that goes on. Let's see. Yeah, I want to change out the rear end grease. Had to adjust my lighting. Let's get this off of here. Then we can really clean it up. Take all these bolts over to the bench grinder like we've been doing. Let loose on it with the wire wheel. See about popping this off of here. I bet this stuff's gonna stink. Ain't no telling how old it is. I guess it don't look so bad though. Yeah, it actually looks pretty decent. Kind of spinning everything around, having a look at it. I've never had a visual look at this thing at all. I mean, it seems okay. I don't see any broken teeth. Nothing crazy going on inside, I don't guess. Yeah, I don't see anything visually wrong with it. We'll get all this cleaned up, put back together. Then we can refill it with some brand new grease. I was noticing some dirt was falling down around these edges, so I went ahead and kind of covered everything up with a rag, trying to get most of this to fall back the opposite way. Note to self, clean that off a little better next time before you pull the cap off, I guess. But I think this will work. This is after all that pressure washing we did. Still got a good amount of dirt underneath here, but that's all right. We will continue to clean this thing up as we go, as we do work to it. But we definitely did get the majority of it off with that pressure washer, because man, this thing was really, really bad. Y'all remember it? If you didn't see the pressure wash video, man, you should go back and check it out. This thing was definitely filthy. Like, this is nothing compared to what it was. I tell you what would be nice is to put a, what is it, an 8 3/4 rear end? This is the 8 1/4. This ain't nothing. This is just a one-wheel pill. That other one, man, that would get both wheels a spinning. That'd be nice. Maybe we could upgrade later to something like that. You guys keep watching the videos, man. Hit that subscribe button. Be sure to like, share, all that good stuff, man. We'll grow this channel up to where we could do some really cool stuff. That is definitely the plan. I've been underneath there cleaning up that axle housing for a good half hour now. I got a good amount of the grease and stuff scraped off of it. Now I'm going to go ahead and clean up the cover real good, and then we can put it back on and start filling it back up with grease. Now that I got the majority of it off, I could go ahead and heat it up with a wire wheel. So I've got the cover all cleaned up, got the old gasket material and everything off of it. Let's get it back on the car. Don't forget to clean your bolts up. So now that our cover and everything's all cleaned up, let's clean up the housing, and we'll get that thing screwed back on here. And now here we go, let's get it on there. Just a couple bolts started. It's easy enough, huh? Not too bad. We'll get all this tightened up, we'll put the grease in it, and then we'll spray a little of that rust defender back here. Go through and snug these up. Don't get too crazy, it don't take much. Well, I wonder how hard this is going to be to get off. Let's see. Hopefully it won't be too bad. That wasn't bad at all. Oh my God. I know, man. It sounds like I'm rubbing it in sometimes, because we always talk about how easy these cars are to work on around here because of the fact that we live in an area that's relatively salt-free for the most part. I mean, they do salt the roads, but not a lot. And it's only maybe a few times a year. So we are pretty fortunate when it comes to rust, you know, we just don't have a lot of it. So I'm going to try something here, see if this will help me out a little bit. I don't even know if it will or not. I might be barking up the wrong tree, but I'm going to try and see if I can put a little hose on the end of my grease here. See if that'll help me a little bit. Let's get this filled back up. I'm sure the lighting sucks, man. All my lights went dead on me, so I'm gonna have to take a break and maybe charge some of this stuff back up. But at least we got this part of it done, that's for sure. So I think we've reached a pretty good stopping point. I'm gonna go ahead and get these batteries all charged up. And when we come back, we're gonna go through, we're gonna flush out those brake lines, and then we're gonna get in there and bleed the brakes. And hopefully we'll have some good brakes when we're done. I mean, that is the idea. Yeah, I'm down to my last light and I have to wear it on my forehead. So anyway, on that note, I'm going to go ahead and get on out of here. Don't worry, we're going to pick up right where we left off on the next video and we'll get that out right quick. So I'm going to get on out of here. I'll see you guys next time.